All right, Bowings. The first thing that we're going to need to tackle here in El Toro are the long bows. And we have some sections where there are some dotted half notes. So the first time we have this is here in measure 13. We have a dotted half note, and then we have 3/4 notes and 1/8 note. So the goal is to get back to the middle of the bow for the 1/8 notes, which means we're going to have to be able to do something here. And for the next quarter note to half note, which is basically a dotted half note, we're going to have to figure out how to be in the middle of the bow and use a heavy enough bow so that we can sound full on this before we get to the up bow. I have a teaching companion for El Toro available on teachingorchestra.com, and there are some exercises where we just isolate open Ds and we make sure the students know how to play heavy bows on the dotted half note. And then once we master that, they can bounce between the heavy bows and the light up bows so that they can get back to the middle of the bow for this next dotted half note. And they don't have to do it all in one up bow. Like, you can get a little close to the middle here and a little close to the middle here. It doesn't have to be all in one thing. So you can pace yourself getting back to the middle. And this is a great exercise that teaches them how to do that. Since string playing is a bimanual activity, the left hand, the right hand are doing completely different things, or at least they should be doing completely different things. So it's very important that we isolate the right hand so we get the right hand working really well first, and then we can add the left hand. So understand the mechanics is really important, and that's probably the first bowing that you're really going to need to tackle. The next trick that we're going to have in this piece are the double down bows on the 1/4/4/8 rhythm. In El Toro, we've got it in violas and cellos right from the beginning of the piece. 2 double down bows right off the bat. And then again in measure 5, first violin, second violins, viola, cello. Basses even get a turn at it at 39. In fact, at 39, they're the only section that has it. And it's probably most important that basses learn this technique, because getting that D string to activate, getting that grip on the D string, again, to activate that string is going to be your biggest challenge here, much more than the violins when they're doing it on the E string, for instance. In the teaching companion, we stage this technique. So the first exercise that we do for double down bows is quarter note, but I take out the 1/8 notes on beat 2 and the and of 2 so that they have time to set their bows for beat 3. So they play, set, down, up, down. And then they lift, set, down, up, down. When you play through this, you can have them go through it very slowly and build your way up to half note equals 60. I wouldn't have them try playing it at tempo to begin with so that they can make sure and get the technique. And once they have this pretty good, well, then we can come up here to this exercise where they just learn the exercise on the D string before they add the left hand. So down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, again, start slowly and then ramp up the tempo so that the right hand technique is very solid. You don't want to have them play too fast to where they're playing sloppy. So what does that mean, playing sloppy? It means they're either ricocheting on the retake, or they're not gripping in between the down bows, or their bows are sliding on the first 1/8 note because they haven't quite set the bow yet. So develop that technique. You want to practice it slowly, and you want to practice those short circle bows, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, so that they have the right technique to be able to play it fast. For the long bows, I would definitely consider having your students work on their vibrato technique. And by the time students are playing El Toro, it's really a good idea that they're learning vibrato. And if you want some ideas on how to teach vibrato, go to season 1, episode 4, and there's a lot of little segments on vibrato technique, philosophy, when to teach it, how to stage it, and so on. So the next bowing decision that we need to make are, what are we going to do about these quarter notes? Are we going to play these on the string or off the string? And I really like to have my students play them off the string. In season 1, episode 7, I have a demonstration video on how to do brush strokes. So if you want some ideas on how to get your students to start playing off the string, that's a good start. If your students really start getting good at brushstrokes, you can have them play brushstrokes on places where they're coming out of a dotted half note and going into another dotted half note. And that'll help them get to an even lower part of the bow, so they'll have more bow to work with. Another bowing decision that we need to make are how to approach these groupings of 3 quarter notes here. Should we go down, up, up, so that this bowing matches this bowing? Or should we play it as it's written here? That's something that you're gonna need to decide. If you're doing brush strokes, the down, up, up is gonna be much more effective, and they're gonna naturally be able to do the double down bows a lot cleaner. But that depends on what you want as a conductor and the ability of your students to be able to handle that brush stroke. If they're really good at it, if they've mastered that technique, you might want to try double up bows there and kind of rebow this a little bit. It might sound cleaner that way. It might be easier to play faster too. There's some other quarter notes here that are not indicated as long or short. The only tenuto quarter notes that we have are here in measure 53 and 54. These are the only tenuto quarter notes that we have. There are several that aren't indicated as long or short, and if you want to differentiate between the melody here and the harmonies here, that might be a reason to play them on the longer side. You might not want to brush those. Otherwise, you can have them match the quarter notes throughout. That's another bowing decision that you're going to think about, and I'm going to talk a little bit about style in the next video and sort of like how to make some of these decisions and how to stylize this piece for your group, and really like how to say something with the piece, how to make this into a bullfight, and make this piece come to life. So I hope to see you in the next video.